You feel the energy of inertia. The momentum you crave is sitting idle, and you tell yourself it's because of circumstances. The market isn't ready, the timing is off, you don't have the funds or the support or the complete plan. You feel weighed down by external forces, believing that the universe itself has just pinned you into place. But the mirror is clear. The only reason you are truly stuck is because you are choosing comfort over momentum. So before we look at the why, let me be clear. I am here to be a mirror for you. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. My purpose is to arm you with the psychological truth, and I will not validate your procrastination. I will not coddle your fear. I will give you the unsentimental clarity that you need to move past this paralysis and seize your power. So, what I'm getting from this energy is that the core issue is actually quite simple. You've mistaken your comfort zone for actual safety. So, that place of limbo, that feeling of being almost ready, it's just a sophisticated form of hiding. It's predictable, it's familiar, and the identity of I'm just a person trying to get unstuck. It probably feels a lot less risky than having an identity of, I'm a person who failed trying to get free. So, what I'm really getting from this reading is that your inertia is not a failure of will. It is an over optimization of avoidance. You are caught in this space. It's almost like paralysis by analysis. It's like you are using research and journaling, constant planning, and overthinking as a highly sophisticated form of procrastination. You believe that if you just gather one more piece of data or create, one more spreadsheet, the uncertainty is just going to disappear. But I hate to tell you this, uncertainty is part of the move forward. So all the preparation in the world will never eliminate the risk of the first step. So you're using this process of getting ready as avoidance. You're avoiding the reality of doing the work. Okay, what I'm getting in this energy quite powerfully is there's some distinct psychological blockades that are silently locking you into place. So I'm seeing that these energies are fairly subtle, but they're incredibly powerful. It's almost like a fear of a new identity or imposter syndrome. I am really connecting to somebody who is not afraid of the work, but you're afraid of who you have to become to sustain the success you crave. It's like your mind is holding on to the identity of your past self, that familiar, wounded, and very safe version of you. So you look at the successful outcome, the new job, the healed relationship, financial freedom, and you feel that intense wave of imposter syndrome. This is for someone who thinks, who am I to have that? Do I really deserve to operate at that level? This fear is powerful because it triggers self-sabotage. I am really connecting with a group of you who have this internal belief that you think if you stay small, you won't have to face the vulnerability of operating in this new, unproven identity. You stay stuck because that version of this yourself that you require to break free, it feels like a stranger. And it feels like you're just terrified of meeting that person. And I think that that is the price of comfort. So now I'm asking you to look honestly at the secret benefits you gain from staying exactly where you are, right? And that's what I mean by the price of comfort. Being stuck is emotionally expensive, but a lot of the time it has this subconscious payoff. When you remain stuck, you don't have to take full responsibility for your life. You get to maintain that narrative of being a victim. And quite honestly, that probably earns sympathy and low expectation from others. So when you tell people that you're planning or you're waiting, what you're doing is just buying yourself time and actually delaying your accountability. The moment you move forward, the excuses vanish. You actually have to be willing to risk failure, and you have to own your choices. The secret benefit of this inertia is that you are successfully avoiding the heavy, messy work of self-responsibility. The comfort of the cage probably feels familiar and better than that risk of the open sky. So the next piece that is becoming quite clear in this reading is a form of sophisticated self-sabotage. And I think by that, what I mean is the myth of perfection. So this is for the group of people who are not waiting for inspiration, you're waiting for perfection. This is the final, most sophisticated form of self-sabotage. So you tell yourself, I'll start when the plan is flawless, or I'll begin when I have the perfect morning routine, or I'll speak my truth when I can articulate it perfectly. And honestly, this is a pursuit of an impossible ideal, and it's actually a mask for the fear of failure. If the plan isn't perfect, you have a ready-made excuse for when the effort falls short. And if you never launch, you have to face the critique. So I'm seeing that this is a reflection of your truth. Done is better than perfect. The most powerful energy that you possess is the energy of unrefined action. The clarity that you crave only reveals itself after you have started moving. So you must abandon the myth that you'll feel ready. Now, this is the part where I'm going to jump into the solution. This is like actionable steps that will help you move forward. So the first thing to know is that a solution is not going to be a grand gesture. It's actually just a series of tiny acts of self-trust. And again, this practice is grounded in psychological action. And I want to break the inertia with 3 concrete steps. So the first one is a micro step. This is where I'm going to ask you to lower the stakes. Stop trying to achieve 100% of that goal today. That's where we say, I'm going to change everything, my diet, my exercise, my job, and all in one day. I'm just going to do it all perfectly. And then we fail. So here is where we want to just identify the next 1% of an action. If you want a new career, That 1% action is updating one line on your resume, not applying for the job yet. Okay, if you want a better relationship, the 1% action is sending one unsentimental text to set a boundary. Okay, you have to make the first step so small that it feels impossible to fail. Okay, just try things, 1% better. The next thing I am really getting in this energy is something that I think you'll all benefit from, which is the 5-minute rule. This is when you're facing a task that feels overwhelming, commit to doing it for only 5 minutes. You're allowed to stop after 5 minutes, and this tricks the brain into overcoming that initial resistance. 9 times out of 10, you will continue past the 5 minutes because, motion creates emotion. You'll break that psychological lock by just starting the timer. Now, the last piece of advice that I have for you here is more of an identity shift, right? Burn the ships. You must psychologically commit to the new identity, not just to the new result. Tell 3 trusted, unsentimental people that what you're going to do by next week. Okay. Announcing your intention publicly makes that old stagnant identity uncomfortable and increases the psychological cost of retreating. So you have to make a new path the only path. Okay. We can't go back to the old. So try to hold yourself accountable by, picking a couple people you can tell and then having them follow up with you. Did you do it? So this is a portion where I'm going to close out this reading and say that the only reason you're still stuck is that you have permission to be. So today, I want to revoke that permission. Okay, your liberation is waiting on the other side of that single terrifying micro step. The path forward requires deeper examination into the specific repeating pattern of self-sabotage that is unique to you. Okay, that energy is demanding immediate, personalized analysis. Okay, and if you're new here, if this message resonated with you, I would love for you to check out the description and also hit the follow button. So I hope that helped. And until next time.